we are pushing back on one of the major lies of our enemy, and that is that you are alone, you are not seen, you are not considered. We are pushing back on that each and every week that we get together as a group. And group leaders, a way you can lead this is just by creating space in your group to see one another, to consider one another above yourselves, to speak life into one another, to encourage one another and build each other up. Here are just a couple of ideas that you may want to incorporate into the rhythms of your group. First off, practice Christian encouragement. Now, encouragement is not just like, hey, you did a really great job there, or I like you, or you're a good hang, or whatever it may be. Real Christian encouragement gives courage to the other believer. It inflames their faith. It refreshes them. It speaks specifically to how you see the work of Christ in that brother or sister. It sometimes carries God's words. He may put a verse on your heart that you want to share with someone and say, you know what? When I think about you, this verse comes to mind. Or I was reading through this the other day and I thought, man, this verse, this really describes you. How powerful. You may even create space just in the home group time to take this to the next step. Maybe your home group's been together for, 6 months, a year. And you're looking around and you'd say, hey guys, we've all been together for some time. We've gotten to observe one another, kind of in group, outside of group, doing life together. Let's create space over the next few weeks, and we're going to encourage members of the group each week. Here's what it can look like. Hey, next week, we're going to encourage Jenny and Jared. So as you guys go out of group this week, you be thinking before the group meeting next week on how can I encourage Jenny and Jared? In fact, you may even pray, just say, Lord, will you give me insight to speak words of life into Jenny and Jared? In fact, would you just bring to mind ways that I see them living the Christ life, practicing the resurrection life, and also just giving life to others? Where do I see them using their spiritual gifts? How have they impacted the group? How have they impacted me? Or Lord, would you just give me an insight to speak to them? Maybe something they're struggling with where I could encourage them. Maybe it is one of those scripture verses and you want to share that during that encouragement time. And so each group member comes ready to practice home group, to contribute, to encourage one another and build each other up, to fight back against our arch nemesis. That is loneliness, that is isolation, is right where the enemy wants to keep us. But when people feel encouraged, you can be a very courageous Christian. This is one of those ways you can create space to build up the courage of people in your group. And you really can't do it apart from prayer. Maybe you create space just to pray for one another more specifically in your group, rather than kind of taking requests and then seeing, oh, we ran out of time, let's hurry through prayer. Maybe you just say, guys, tonight we're just going to make space for prayer. In fact, we're going to start tonight and we're just going to be quiet for 3 minutes, 5 minutes. As the group leader, I'll keep the time. Don't worry about that. You just be quiet before God. He's here tonight. We are in His presence. And so you pray, you talk to Him, you ask Him, Lord, what do you want to do tonight in this group? As this group of believers is meeting here and we have Jesus Christ and the gospel here at the center, at the reason of why we're meeting, how do you want to work through us tonight? Would you do that, Father? In fact, Lord, sometimes it can be a prayer of just, I'm coming in tired to group, Lord. Would you encourage me? Or maybe you're coming in and saying, Lord, I'm tired. I don't have anything to give, but would you work through me to encourage someone else tonight, that they would be seen, considered, that I could speak life into someone, that I could have a prayer or an insight that might build up the faith of one of the other brothers and sisters here in this room? You'll see how just creating space for this kind of personal interaction, both acknowledging God with us and God among us and God in each of us, will change some of the dynamics of your home group. It'll eliminate loneliness. It will create more community. It will create more Christ-centered community. These are a couple of examples. We're going to keep sharing some with you leaders, but maybe just start there in creating space to practice Christian encouragement and to make prayer a more central part of your group. You're seeing each other and how God is moving in each and every woman, each man and woman in that group.